Elephant Man Podcast Network, grown man conversations dealing with elephants in the room. It's your man, Moray DB. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can know what new material coming out. IG, Elephant Man _podcast / Elephant Man Podcast for Facebook, and hit the Paleo Hebrew in the top right or the bottom right corner, and Twitter / Post Boys. Blessings to all. Hopefully you got to see last Sunday build, and check it out. And also, what is success? Make sure you check that out. Blessings to everybody. Blessings to everybody that's coming in. I had an event that I had to go to, but I wanted to make sure we get our Sunday build in. Always, all the time, like, subscribe, share what's going on. And it seems like the stuff is going to be ramping up more and more as time goes on. But today, I got to share this. This is incredible, what's going on. So I'm going to play the video. I'm going to play the fair use first, and then we're going to get into the video. Fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Again, fair use. All right. Fair use. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show this real quick. Blessing everybody that's coming in. So let's show this real quick, man. It's 3 of them, and then I'm going to make a few comments, and then we're going to get off here. We're not going to be on here long. Check this out.
Gears as we do see House Speaker Johnson now addressing the media. We are going to shift gears, pot up the sound, and listen in.
Said these are not normal times. They're not. The world is destabilized, and it's a tinderbox. It's a dangerous time. 3 of our primary adversaries, Russia and Iran and China, are working together, and they're being aggressors around the globe. And they're a global threat to our prosperity and our security. Their advance threatens the free world, and it demands American leadership. If we turn our backs right now, the consequences could be devastating. So this afternoon, the House acted, and we sent over to the Senate, and it will be transmitted shortly, our supplemental national security legislation. And make no mistake, this is not a blank check like the Senate supplemental bill was. This is very different. Instead of taking the path of least resistance and bringing up the Senate supplemental on the House floor, or just allowing a discharge petition to pursue, which would have had the same outcome, we gave our members a voice. We gave them a chance. We gave them a better process and ultimately a much better policy. Unlike this number of very important features. It provides for greater accountability over Ukraine aid. It forces an in-game strategy for the Ukraine war. It includes a loan instrument of this foreign aid to Ukraine and the Repo Act to ensure that Russian assets pay for part of the bill. And unlike the Senate's bill, the loan system itself is a House innovation and allows for much needed insight. Now remember that 80% of the Ukraine funding will go to the replenishment of American weapons and stocks and our facilities and our operations. It also includes tough measures and sanctions on Iran and Russia and China, which most of the American people understand is a necessity and a very important thing. Our process in the end ensured that each member was able to consider the individual supplemental elements on their own merits, which is exactly how the House is supposed to work. I know there are critics of the legislation. I understand that. It is not a perfect piece of legislation. We're not ensured that in a time of divided government and in a time where there are lots of different opinions. But there's no question whatsoever that the House has made many strong improvements to the Senate bill, and the product that we've sent over there is much better. This package, I will note, because it's very important, also includes national security priorities, and many of them, but it is the only way that we could have gotten Democrats to support aid to Israel. And that's a fact. There is a lot of misinformation out there about the bill, and I just want to make one point about one issue that has been drawn a lot of attention, and that is, could any of this funding go to Hamas or to terrorist organizations or what have you? And we put safeguards in the legislation to ensure that UNRWA is not funded, the UN agency that included terrorists who participated in the October 7th attack on Israel. We've also have language that prevents it from going, any of the funding going to Hamas or any other bad actors. That's a very important element of oversight. Congress takes the oversight very seriously, and we will continue to keep an eye on every dollar that we are using and investing at this time. I've said it very simply. I'll say it once again. It's an old military adage, but we would rather send bullets to the conflict overseas than our own boys, our troops. And I think this is an important moment, an important opportunity to make that decision. We allowed the House to do that, and I expect the Senate will make the same decision. One or two questions.
What is your message to those?
You're being asked to resign. Will you?
Jeffries about that.
All right. You said I'd rather send bullets than our boys. All right. I'm gonna show two more videos, and then we're gonna get into it. Okay. But he said I'd rather send bullets than our boys. All right. So two more things on the same subject. Let's check this out.
Passed a bill that would include sending financial aid to both Ukraine and Israel. 22 Republicans defied former President Trump and voted with the Democrats. Now it faces
All right. Trying to figure out
severe opposition in the House. ABC's Perry Russom explains.
On this vote, the yeas are 70, the nays are 29. The bill, as amended, passes.
Early this morning, after an all-night session, the Senate passing a $95 billion bill that would send aid to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan.
It's certainly been years, perhaps decades, since the Senate passed a bill that so greatly impacts not just our national security, not just the security of our allies, but the security of Western democracy.
Even after facing fierce opposition from former President Trump, 22 Senate Republicans voted in favor of the bill.
All right, we got technical difficulties with that one. I don't know what's going on with that.
Including Minority Leader Mitch McConnell.
But it's a few more. I don't know if because we're using a lot of internet or what. I'm gonna try to show this last one, and then we're gonna chop it up.
The U.S. Senate intent on providing military aid to Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan.
On this vote, the yeas are 70, the nays are 29. The bill, as amended, passes.
On Tuesday, 22 Republicans joined most Democrats to approve a $95 billion package to help these countries defend themselves. President Joe Biden said voting for the bill is an act of courage and called on Republicans in the House to do the same.
You got to decide. Are you going to stand up for freedom? Or are you going to side with terror and tyranny? You're going to stand with Ukraine? You're going to stand with Putin? We stand with America or with Trump?
A point echoed by the Senate Majority Leader.
If the hard right kills this bill, it would be an enormous gift to Vladimir Putin. It would be a betrayal of our partners and allies and an abandonment of our service members.
The Ukrainian president asked the House of Representatives to do what he calls the right thing.
Putin has never intended to limit himself to Ukraine alone. His goals are far broader. Hence, solidarity in defense must be even broader.
Ms. Green for 5 minutes.
But some House Republicans say the U.S. can't afford this military aid package.
This institution has lost its way. $34 trillion in debt. And the only thing that we're to talk about is to continue funding a war in Ukraine and to fund a war in Israel.
House Speaker Mike Johnson opposes the Senate bill and says he won't bring it to the floor as is. But Democrats say they'll be looking for ways to get around Johnson for the sake of the U.S.'s allies. Rosalind Jordan, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Wow. Very, very interesting. Very,
to
very
subscribe to our
interesting.
channel.
Very, very interesting. Now, one thing that I've noticed when I was watching that's very interesting is the simple fact that it kept on saying Gaza genocide, Gaza genocide. Now, if the money is going to Israel, who's being genocide though? You got to ask yourself that question. It's a hard question, but who is being genocide? If you got people in the Gaza Strip, right? They're intercepting aid. They're blowing up buildings with women and children. They have nowhere to go. They're dying daily. Like it's more people that's dying on the Palestinian side than the Israel side. They're dying daily, right? Who is being wiped out? Who is being annihilated? Who is? See, this is some actors. This is acting, right? And we're supposed to have discernment in this end time. No man knows a day or the hour. We prophesy in part, we preach in part, and I get that. But just because it says Israel doesn't mean it's Israel. Israel is not a land. Israel is a people. True Israel is scattered abroad. But I digress. But I'm saying words like genocide, it's just a lot. It's very, very interesting, the words that's used, right? It's a threat to our prosperity and security, right? Very, 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 very interesting. But to the point, let's read what it said. I'm gonna open it up. It's very, very interesting. Let's open that up real quick. We're just gonna slow walk it. First thing, how much money the U.S. passes a $95 billion package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. So it says the U.S. representatives on Saturday with the board bipartisan supported a $95 billion legislative package providing security assistance to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan over bitter objections from Republican hardliners. The legislation now proceeds to the Democratic Majority Senate, which passed a similar measure more than 2 months ago. But look, this is what I want to say. So if they're fighting a war, let's put it like this. It's like they're pushing the war. They want this war. They want this war. Somebody want this war to take place. Somebody want this war to take place. Because look, if you say I'm gonna send aid to the Ukraine, who you have opposition with, who you have some friction with, you're gonna have more friction with Russia if you send aid to the Ukraine. If you send aid to Israel, you're gonna have more friction with the Muslim world, Palestinian world, Iran. If you send aid to Taiwan, you're gonna have friction with China. So by you poking your nose into all of these different affairs, you're hitting the hornet's nest of these countries. You're provoking these other countries. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying you're provoking these other countries. All right? That's it's on purpose, right? And I think that it's in steps, right? October 7th and until all winter, they're bombing and blowing up the Gaza. They wouldn't cease fire. They wouldn't let aid come in. All right. The Muslim world just sitting kind of watching. They're kind of mad that you shoot a missile over to Iran, kill some of their officials, right? What you think they're gonna happen? Right? They're gonna shoot missiles back. Now it's like a terror attack. What is the definition of terror? What is the definition of terror? and terrorist. Somebody Google that if you're on your laptop and put that in the chat. What is the definition of terror and terrorist? Right? Because it's been 400 years of terrorism, right? It's been 400 years of terrorism, right? So another point, the lady said, let me stop that one. The lady also said, $34 trillion in debt and counting. This is the U.S. debt clock. Go to usdebtclock.org. To the left is the debt in real time. That's why these numbers going up fast like this, right? The United States is $34 trillion in debt. The green means the revenue that's coming in, $4 trillion, right? But you still 30 trillion in debt if you just subtract that from that, right? The revenue per citizen, just go on there and look. usdebtclock.org. It's in real time. $34 trillion. So where are you getting $94 billion from to fund the war? When you make moves like that, that lets me know that you are trying to crash the system on purpose so you can get a global reset. You're trying to crash that system on purpose. That nobody's that dumb, or maybe somebody is that dumb. But I said I'm not gonna throw no name. I'm not gonna name call. But it don't make sense. It don't make no sense at all. Not even a little bit of sense. We slow walking through it. And I also think about when they're giving aid to Israel, they're giving aid to Ukraine. But what happened when we had the reparations talk for years and years? This was 3 years ago. I want you guys to see, can you guys remember this from 3 years ago?
For racial justice and equality are growing louder in America. With those calls comes a renewed interest in reparations. Reparations are the act of making amends to someone or a group of people who have been wronged. Germany paid billions of dollars in reparations to Holocaust victims or their families and to Israel after the Nazi atrocities of World War II. And in 1988, the U.S. paid more than 80,000 Japanese Americans who were held in internment camps during World War II. They each got $20,000. But African Americans have never gotten reparations for their 246 years of slavery. Lawmakers have introduced bills in Congress to study reparations and whether it's possible, but most have never gotten very far. In 2008, the House of Representatives issued an apology for slavery. And in 2019, bills to study and develop a proposal for reparations were introduced into both houses of Congress. But the legislation languished. Recently, there's been renewed interest, like the Harriet Tubman Community Investment Act, which the Maryland General Assembly is considering. The Brookings Institution says it could be a possible blueprint to what reparations could look like for Black Americans. Under this act, the descendants of slaves in Maryland could receive the following repayments. Tracing the descendants of slaves will be one major challenge. Unlike victims of the Holocaust and Japanese internment camps, there are not a lot of paper trails for the descendants of slavery. The census didn't count Black Americans until 1870, and unlike immigrant groups who have their history documented at Ellis Island, there's no central historical database for the descendants of slaves.
Wow.
Hey!
So that's pretty interesting, right? Now, my next question is, like, that was bad that happened overseas with the Jewish people over there, right? That was really, really bad what happened overseas. They held Germany accountable. Sorry, hit the mic. They held Germany accountable, right? They made them pay reparations. They made them pay reparations to all Holocaust survivors, right? They held Germany accountable. That happened overseas. That didn't happen over here. I'm not being not lack of empathy, but that happened overseas, right? Every book, every turn, you're going to see Anne Frank, you're going to see Schindler's List. You will not forget. Your children's children will learn about the atrocity of what Hitler did to them and their people, right? To keep their sympathy and their empathy going, right? That happened overseas, but yet they held Germany accountable for that. And that happened, like I said, overseas, right? Slavery happened here on this continent, on this soil, right? Now the Japanese thing happened because if you look it up, some concentration camp, when all the people that was over here from Japan, when they would start to fight Japan, they got scared. They didn't know if they was gonna rise up, so they started putting them in concentration camps, and so they can monitor them a little bit better. But then when the war was over with, then they apologized and gave them folk $20,000 a family. Now you can start you some businesses, you can start you a lot of stuff. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but if you want to send somebody to school, if you want to have a down deposit for a house or a business, you can do it. It's some seed money for a business, right? $20,000. But for reparations, $0 paid. $0 paid. And the narrative is welfare king, welfare queen, looking for a handout. And that atrocity happened on this soil. And you need more than I'm sorry, I apologize. Because you cannot you cannot take I apologize to the bank. But it goes with Deuteronomy 28 and 68. No man shall buy you. No man shall rescue you. No man shall come to your rescue. So my question, a smoking gun, if the people over in Israel is the true people of the Bible, somebody, United Snakes of America, a lot of people are coming to their aid. They are coming to their aid like never before, right? You have your reward. But true Israel, scattered abroad, that's a smoking gun. And what I used to do a lot of times, I used to assume. I used to say stuff out of assumption. But it's really people that don't know. And I had to come to the realization of that, right? They just don't know. They sit in church and they follow what their pastor tell them. I'm not banging on the church, but hear me out. And they don't know, right? I personally know churches and pastors that support occupied Israel, right? Full of the Holy Ghost with no discernment. You're so full of the Holy Ghost, right? And I'm not being, condescending. But I'm like, man, this is 101 to me. This is so simple. You have your reward. United States is not coming to the aid of true Israel. United States is treating true Israel with content, terrible. Gator bait. I can go on and on and on. The Emmett Tills. I can go on and on and on and on. And no, I'm not mad, and I don't want my lick back. And I know vengeance is the Most High, and I know we're supposed to turn the other cheek. These are different things that the Stockholm Christianity, racist white supremacy, Stockholm Christianity tells us so we can go back to sleep. I get it. They're using scripture out of context, and it's okay to say, hey, if you pinch me, hey, that hurt. Don't pinch me, right? We can't do that. We want to turn the other cheek or give them the other arm just to abuse us. That's what it seems like. But anyway, slavery happened on this soil. We never got anything for that, but that's okay. It's all according to plan, all according to scripture. Now, even they start talking about this on this right here. I'm gonna show this video. Hopefully, it'll play. But people are just so callous and cold-hearted when it comes to paying us money. This is some people. They said most of us are tired of it. Douglas Murray slams sick cause for slavery reparations. Check it out.
is we've forgotten how to be genuinely proud of our great countries, both America and United Kingdom, two of the greatest countries in the world. It's almost like every day now, somebody somewhere, normally on the left, the woke left, is queuing up to find a reason to hate the countries and their histories.
Well, it's a kind of grievance competition. Your guest earlier just tried to engage in it. I don't know what hurt she believes she's had from slavery. All of this was addressed 2 centuries ago. Everything has consequences. All history has consequences and ramifications. But, if we were to play this fairly, we would at least look at all of the countries around the world that engaged in the slave trade who are simply not interested in any form of reparations. The Ottoman Empire, all the Arab countries who not just traded far more slaves than across the Atlantic, but castrated all the men so that there wouldn't be any more African slaves after them. They worked them to the bone. I see no interest across Africa in paying reparations for selling their brother and sister Africans into slavery or for working them to the bone to the present day. There is slavery across Africa today. In fact, there are more slaves in the world today than there were at the height of the transatlantic slave trade. So some of us are simply a bit bored of hearing people ripping at closed wounds and then crying about their hurt or their presumed hurt, because everybody could do this. 1 million Europeans were stolen by North Africans over the course of decades of the North African Barbary pirate slave trade. Where would you end if you did that? The answer is you couldn't end, because nobody is alive who has actually suffered the hurt, and nobody is alive who did the wrong. And I'd make one other point, if I may. It's always the countries that people want to come to who are put through this struggle session. Britain, like America and France, are the most desired destinations for migrants worldwide and have been for centuries. Why is that? It's not because we're racist, it's because we're better, it's because we're good, it's because when we see racism, we actually call it out and recognize it as a sin. Try finding that across Africa, try finding that across the Middle East or in China. Nobody would hear. So what we have is a situation where the more virtuous countries are presented as the worst countries. It's sick, and most of us are tired of it.
Thank you, Douglas.
I am so sorry that Douglas is bored by the pain that has come from
That's not what he said.
Through slavery.
He didn't say. He didn't say. But what you're doing there, what you're doing, yeah. But hang on, Paula. Paula, you're being very disingenuous. That's not what he said.
I am.
The viewers aren't stupid. They know exactly what he said. He's not saying he's bored by the pain. He's saying, and I think it's a perfectly valid point, the pain that people who are alive today are claiming they're suffering for what happened 200 or 300 years is not a real pain. They're not the ones who suffered what was going on 200 or 300 years ago.
So in terms of justice for all, I mean, I think we'd all agree that there
Well,
should
I'm
be
not
justice.
suffering from when the Normans invaded this country.
Agree.
I'm not suffering from what my ancestors went through.
I noticed that I'm not being allowed to respond.
Or from the Romans. In other words, where do you take this? I mean, should I now be feeling pain from what the Romans did to this country?
In terms of slavery, I can take it to 2015 when the slave owners were compensated by the government. So I can take it to that extent.
But where does your personal pain
come? And I can say to you that I don't think that apologising is a bad thing. I think that apologising for a wrong is a good thing. I think that the Dutch royal family have done a fantastic thing in acknowledging what has gone wrong.
Okay, I hear you, but I
society.
honestly think it'll make no difference at all.
So today's the day. I've got my
So you see, it's a hard, callous, wicked heart. She couldn't even get her stuff out. That happened a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, when the reparations talk was in. See, it's a respect of persons. It's a selective empathy. I'm not pointing this out to make anybody mad in the playback or in the chat. I'm simply saying we're in it, but not of it. We don't buy into Hasatan and their system. The kingdom of racism, white supremacy will be destroyed by the Most High Yah. It will be. So he wants us to be in it, but not of it, right? That she could. Why have her on the panel if you're not gonna let her say her? You let the dude just the other guy. He say, "Well, what do you want to do? Let her explain herself." Right? Over talking her and it's not going to make a difference. It's going to make a difference, you know. That's why blood is going to be up to the vesture of the horse of the Most High Yah, right? And then I want to talk about that. I don't understand how you want to hold everybody else accountable. You want to hold everybody else accountable, be the world police, like your way is the way to go. There's a way that seems right unto a man, and the end thereof is death. You want to hold everybody accountable, but can't nobody chin check you. Can't nobody chin check the Anglo. You want to hold everybody accountable, but can't nobody chin check the Khazar. You chin check the Khazar, they're going to call you anti-Semitic. You point out their wrongdoings, they're going to call you anti-Semitic. So you just get a free pass. It's a game, right? Ain't nobody dumb out here. We see the game. We see it in black and white. So I'm going to read these scriptures and we're going to get out of here. All right. It's just crazy. Very interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. So they don't have the same energy, the quote unquote same energy for true Israel as they do for the Khazars. They know that place is about to be tore up. So the Khazarian people, as I mentioned in past shows, Ukraine is the old Khazaria. They don't even put it on the maps. They don't put it on nothing. They know that that place is about to be tore up to smithereens. So they want to get Ukraine back so they can go back to Russia area. Putin like, no, because you're on our back door. Y'all too close for not to be friends, not to be cool with us, right? So then they make Putin all kind of this, that, and that. I'm not making him a Boy Scout. I'm not making Xi Jinping or whoever's over China a Boy Scout, or the guy in Iran a Boy Scout or Noble or whatever. But I'm saying this. These people, they bully, they punk, they destroy, they manipulate, they steal, kill, and destroy like Hasatan. They steal, kill, and destroy and want to have the final say so. But there's a day coming, the Most High Yah is going to have a final say so, right? He's going to have a final say so. So whose side are we on? They were like, oh, whose side you on? If you see this show right here, it make it seem like I'm for terrorists or the side of tyranny, because that ain't right. Now I know people say, well, your own people did you wrong, Arabs did you wrong, this, that, and the other. I feel you, but a young Arab woman and a young Arab boy, Palestinian girl, did not do me wrong, and they did not deserve. That's not justification for blowing them up in the building and stuff. You feel me? Where's the moral compass? That's not justification for that, right? That's what happened too. Like, we want to kill and genocide and wipe out the so-called African American, but we have to justify it. So we show videos, we show movies, we show people that are menace to society and not an asset but a liability to society. So it justifies killing innocent people. Now they can have a bad attitude, walking down the street, pants sagging, blunt. They're still innocent because they haven't did anything to be killed. You might not like it. You might not like their culture. You might not like their attitude. You might disrespect, but that don't make you judge, jury, and execution to blow their head off. So this is right here. This one story right here, very, very interesting. The Most High Commander confronts Joshua, right? Joshua was about to get instructions to go around the wall of Jericho, a fortified city. And this is very interesting. When Joshua was near the town of Jericho, he looked up and saw a man standing in front of him with a sword in his hand. Joshua went up to him and demanded, "Are you a friend or a foe?" "Neither one," he replied. "I am the commander of the Most High's army." See, they be wanting you to choose a side. You know, But this is interesting because you'll think that I would have thought that the angel or whoever the commander is would have said, I'm on your side because you're on the Most High side. Nah, we don't know whose side you on. You could be on the Most High side, right? You could flip flop, but I'm on to let it be known. I'm here for the Most High. Period. Point blank. I'm not here for denomination, religions. I'm not here for so-called white, black. I'm not here for nothing. I'm on the Most High side, and what He say goes. And His word and His law is final, right? Yeah, we're born in sin, shape of iniquity. We're not perfect, but I'm saying, we're getting to a posture where we're taking up our cross and follow Him daily, and becoming a living sacrifice. A living sacrifice, right? And we're saying, nevertheless, not our will, but your will be done. So in Joshua 5:14, neither one, he replied, I am a commander of the Most High's army. And at this, Joshua fell with his face to the ground in reverence. I am at your command, Joshua said. What do you want your servant to do? The commander of the Most High's army replied, take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy. And Joshua did as he was told, right? This letting him know he submitted to the will of the Most High Yah. This let the commander know, okay, you're on the side of the Most High Yah. For the simple fact you're not justifying, you're doing exactly what the Most High Yah said do, right? And it's so crazy, the discernment, there's a way that seems right into a man, but the end thereof is death. And it's just real crazy. People are a respected person. But let's read this John 16. Oh, these things I have spoken to you that you should not be offended. They shall put you out of synagogue. Yea, the time cometh, or whosoever killeth you will think they're doing Abba Yahuwah a service. Like they'll blow you up, they'll kill you, they'll justify killing you and thinking you're doing Abba Yah a service. Right? When the Son of Man shall come in glory, this is Matthew 25. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all his holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and therefore him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as the shepherd divides the sheep from the goats. Everybody want to be the goat. You don't want to be the goat at the end time. Everybody want to be the greatest of all time. There's only one greatest of all time, and that's Yahushua and his finished work. Now we do we do have different records, and we do have different stunts, and we're great. We're good at something, but it's still vanity. It's still passing away, because you're gonna hit the grave one day, and you're gonna have your ring or stats or whatever, and it doesn't matter. I mean, and I'm not making light, excuse me, of your accomplishments, but there's only one true goat, and he's a sheep. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on his left. Then shall the king say unto all them on his right hand, come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit my kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. He said the meek shall inherit the world, the earth. You don't have to divide and conquer, steal, kill, and destroy to colonize and control and manipulate and squander resources and withhold resources and 15-minute cities and all these different things to control the bodies and souls of men. Oh, it's not enough resource. There's not enough resources and too many people. I guess we're gonna kill people, injecting them with stuff like we some lab rats. But anyway, for I was hungered and ye gave. For I was and hungered and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger and ye took me in. Naked and ye clothed me. I was sick and ye visited me. I was in prison and ye came unto me. This is crazy, right? You giving sickness, right? You're putting people in prison, right? That's crazy. That's crazy. Then shall the righteous answer them, saying, Most High, when saw we thee and hungered and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee? When you saw we did thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked. When did we see you or being a stranger and take you in naked or clothed? I'm sorry, guys. Or when saw thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the king answered and said to him, Verily, verily, I say unto you, insomuch have you done these to the least of these, my brethren, ye have done it unto me. Then shall he say unto them on their left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, right? I was a refugee, right? I was a stranger. You didn't take me in, right? You had xenophobia. I was naked. With all of the resources you had, you didn't clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you visit me not. Then shall they answer him, say, when we saw thee hunger or thirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, or did not minister unto thee? Then shall he answer them and say, Verily I say unto you, as much as you done to one of the least of these, you done it unto me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into eternal life. So basically, it's basically saying like, man, do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Not only that, but don't take advantage of the people who are downtrodden, or the people who don't know no better, or the people who are sick, who are hungry, right, or who are. Don't take advantage of people, right? If it's a resources have been held, right? So people couldn't advance, and they think they're getting away with it, right? They lobbying, they going to Washington and making all these different deals, and not looking out for the common people, right? The greater good of the people, right? But they want you to vote for them. They want you to, put your yard, your sign in their yard. They want you to do all these different things for them, make all these promises, empty promises, and then don't even come to your aid. Take advantage of you, right? Tax the poor and give the rich tax breaks. But anyway, I said all that to say, people are respect a person. They have selective empathy. They will kill you and say that they're doing the Most High a favor, right? They will justify killing you. Well, he had a stick, and I feared for my life, and I thought it was a gun. Hey, you're not being held accountable, right? You judge, jury, executioner. You are executioner. You are above the law. You are above the law of the Most High Yah. You esteem the law of racism, or the kingdom of racism, white supremacy over the laws of the Most High Yah. That's why I believe a lot of times they want to, man, you got to forgive 7 times 70. Like, I want to be able to do all these atrocities to you, and I need you to have your forgiveness and turn the other cheek intact, so I can continue to steal, kill, and destroy, and ask for forgiveness, but then they'll never change, right? They don't have a change of heart, right? Don't say I don't apologize. Pride comes before the fall. You heard them guys on there. We're not apologizing for slavery, right? They made the German descendants pay money to the Holocaust survivors. How can this happen? It's so bad. It's so bad. Pick up the world's smallest violin, right? But when it comes to you, nah, you ain't doing that. And I ain't hating. It's straight in real time. You seen it. You see it all the time. So we not eye for an eye. We're not mad. We're not bitter. We're not looking for no handout. We're looking for what's due us, right? And it's by design. It's not supposed to be that way. So when the Most High do it, and then even with them, people don't come to France, people don't come to America and Britain, but you got to look. Those countries take a lot of resources from where? The motherland, the continent. They take a lot of resources from the continent. If France quit getting money from the continent, they will fold, right? If Israel don't get weapons and aid from the United States, they will fold. They are surrounded by Palestinian countries. And the only thing that's keeping them at bay is the big brother, the bully, United States of America. It's the only one that's keeping them from being overthrown. Only one. Sending aid, sending missiles, sending bullets. They're like, oh, we don't want to send our boys. We'll send bullets over there. Well, they're going to try to send the boys after a while. Because when they ramp up and you keep hitting that hornet's nest called Russia, you keep hitting that hornet's nest called China, right? They got other folks laying in the cut. You got your North Koreas, right? You got your whole Muslim world, right? And if you don't take their side, then you are a terrorist. You're aiding and abiding the terrorists, right? That's not true. You got a terrorist mindset, right? You're going against democracy and freedom, right? No, that's not the truth. Because we don't agree with, we see the real and we don't agree with the genocide. So we're gonna get on up out of here, and blessings to everyone. Be looking out for some stuff. Thanks for Arlo to give on the Cash App. $1 dollar bill, y'all. Two true. High five, 10 to win it, and get plenty done with the 20. So thank you for letting these different supporting. Any gifts, great or small, help us stay on air and do other different projects we got coming up. We got a devotional coming up and some other different things that's in the way that we're working on. So Elephant Man Podcast Network, growing conversations, dealing with elephants in the room. I am out.
Perfect.